So what we do a lot is, I heard a lot of people say, triple down on this, triple down on most of your strength.
Yeah.
No. That works for a lot of things, but when you're afraid and you don't have the courage, you have to triple down on your weaknesses and make that become where you start to guide yourself. Okay, I don't like calling. Today I'm making 100 calls.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dial 100 times. What I realized was the things I was most afraid of, I cowered from. I had to start facing these things and becoming an expert at the things I feared the most.
Yeah.
I was afraid of my own mind. My mind would get off on these crazy places of woe is me. My internal conversation wasn't great.
Yeah.
So I had to start mastering it. Once I started mastering it, in the horrible place I was at, I consider myself the worst person ever alive. That was my conversation. But once I started mastering my own life, I started realizing, my God, man, this was in me.
Yeah.
I was a 300-pound fat guy. Now I'm 181 pounds, 190 pounds, whatever it was. I'm able to go through all these hell weeks. So I started realizing the capabilities of the human soul and the human mind. But see, you have to make a list of the things that you don't like to do. This list should be very long. Like if you don't like making calls, the very first thing you should do is start making a ton of calls. Because why? That begins to own you.
Yes.
You start to drive yourself this way versus this way. But you'll figure out, if you start making a whole bunch of calls, if you like calling, call a lot. Guess what happens?
You get over it.
You get over it.
Instead of going backward, instead of decaying, get stronger, get better, grow and learn and develop and live. Live in defiance of the weakness and in rebellion against the decay. Fight them as they creep in with their offers of instant gratification and immediate rewards. Fight them for every inch they try to take. Do not surrender any ground ever.
I always fixed the things on the surface. So if I couldn't read and write, I learned to read and write. I would always fix these things on the surface level. And so whenever something hard would raise its ugly head, I didn't have any kind of tools to handle it. I'm like, man, I thought I fixed this already, man. But no, I didn't go deep into the dungeon of my soul and say, okay, what is making you a quitter? What is making you a weak man? What is making you afraid? And so that's why I kept on quitting and going back to start, or not knowing how to get through hard times. And that's why I always tell people, I'm not a theorist. I didn't study, I didn't study a fucking book. I literally put myself in a fire repeatedly like a sword. You put a sword in a fire repeatedly and repeatedly. If you keep on doing that, you're gonna get a nice sword. And then you keep on beating it. You gotta beat the shit out of it. And that's what I am. Yeah. I became that, I said, okay, we can't quit. We gotta figure out why you are this pussy. Why are you this pussy, man? What is wrong with you? What's going on here? So I kept on putting the sword back in the daggone fire, and I just beat it harder. And I beat it harder. Before I knew it, I started realizing, all right, man, the brain is starting to get hard.
I wish I had a sexy way to say this, but to get your dream is gonna be painful. You're gonna want to quit. You're gonna get hurt, and all kinds of weak people are gonna tell you that you're pushing yourself too much. Only those people that have been there know what it takes. It's never gonna be sexy, but trust me, the result will be sexy. What's the dream? What is your dream? What's the vision? What are you looking for? It's gonna entail long hours, a lack of sleep, sacrifice, pain, study, times you work hard and feel like you're getting worse. It's gonna take you getting rid of dead-weighted friends. It's gonna take your mind overcoming your body and your thoughts telling you that you want to give up. Everybody has a dream, but not everybody has the grind that it takes to make that dream a reality. I seen a quote the other day by Mike Tyson that said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Life is this way. We got these dreams, these goals, and then bam, punch right in the face. Now, how do you respond? Weak people think you just got lucky once you made it, when you get there. The rent is due for success every week. It's just different. You become more of a consultant. It becomes brain power. But it's still, the grind comes first before all the things that we want. So if you're tired, if you're in pain, or you feel bad, or you missed a friend's birthday party, remember that the process is weeding out the weak. When you go through pain or tough times, understand that you're not alone. It's those who make it out the other side and survive that achieve the dream, not the quitter.
You can't dissect anything in a normal environment. You can't dissect anything in 72-degree weather. You must put it in the fucking freezer and freeze the fuck out of it. And then you dissect it. Dissect it when it's miserable. Dissect the brain when all it's thinking about is, I need to get out of here, man. I want to get out of the fucking freezer. Open the door. And you said, nah, 5 more seconds, man. 5 more seconds in the freezer. And that's when you start to pick that brain apart. And that's what all this stuff did to me. I kept on putting myself back into the freezer or the fire and beating the shit out of myself, mentally and physically. Before I knew it, this is what happened.
If you don't face reality, you can't fix it. If you don't face your past, you can't learn from it. So what you have to do is you have to face them. You have to face what scares you. You have to face what bothers you. You have to face your weaknesses and face your fears and face your own darkness. Face them, own them, and overcome them all by stepping up and getting after it.
Part of spiritual development is to recognize the satanic tendencies that characterize you and to fully wrestle with them and to integrate them. That's the thing. It's not so much to cast them away. It's to transmute them. You know, and you can see the difference between people who've done that and people who haven't, at least to some degree, because people who haven't integrated the shadow at all are naive. And you can tell that when you look at them, and you can tell that when you talk to them. And because they're naive, they're often resentful as well because they get taken advantage of. And someone who's integrated that more, they're dangerous in the martial arts sort of way, which is they're dangerous, but they don't have to use it because their presence radiates, what would you say? It doesn't radiate threat exactly. Well, certainly strength, but it's the potential for havoc. That's the right way of thinking about it.